just one day after newspapers across America printed the shocking headline that a flying disc had supposedly been recovered near Roswell, New Mexico, another pilot was already reporting something strange in the skies above Idaho. His name was David N. Johnson, and according to newly surfaced military intelligence documents, what he encountered that day would become part of a confidential Army counterintelligence file. At the time, America was in a frenzy. Only weeks earlier, pilot Kenneth Arnold had triggered the modern UFO era after reporting 9 mysterious objects near Mount Rainier. The term flying saucer spread across the country almost overnight. Then came Roswell. Then came the headlines. Then came the flood of sightings. And while the public debated whether any of it was real, the military quietly began collecting witness statements behind the scenes. And buried inside those witness statements was one forgotten encounter that still raises questions nearly 80 years later. David Johnson was not some random civilian chasing rumors. He was an experienced pilot with approximately 2,800 hours of flight time in multiple aircraft, including military planes during World War II. According to the intelligence documents, Johnson had even spent time flying with Kenneth Arnold during some of the early aerial searches connected to the flying saucer reports. The Idaho Statesman newspaper had assigned him a mission: search the skies of the Northwest. His assignment was to find the objects if possible, photograph them, and determine whether any truth existed behind the growing wave of sightings spreading across America. For days, the searches produced nothing. Johnson flew across Idaho, Washington, Montana, and Oregon. Empty skies. No discs, no strange aircraft, no answers. But on July 9, 1947, that changed. Johnson was flying an AT-6 aircraft east of Boise, near an area known as Camas Prairie. Clouds were beginning to rapidly form over the mountains. Visibility elsewhere remained mostly clear. At roughly 14,000 feet, something suddenly appeared in the left side of his field of vision, a dark object, round, black against the sky. At first, Johnson believed he might be looking at a weather balloon. But the object's movement immediately caught his attention. It wasn't drifting naturally. It moved erratically, almost jerking through the air. And according to Johnson's statement, he became concerned enough to immediately contact the Weather Bureau by radio.
This is David Johnson. I am airborne over Camas Prairie. Do you copy?
Boise Weather Service, this is Station 4. We read you loud and clear, Mr. Johnson.
Just checking. Have you released any weather balloons in this area today?
Negative. We haven't performed any tests in several hours.
Now Johnson's full attention shifted toward the object. He turned his aircraft broadside to it. Then he slid back the plexiglass canopy of the plane so there would be no distortion between him and whatever he was observing. Next, he reached for his motion picture camera and started filming. For several seconds, Johnson attempted to capture the object on film while continuing to observe it directly with his own eyes. Then the object did something strange. According to the report, it rolled. As it turned, its circular appearance vanished completely. Now it looked like a thin black line suspended high in the sky. Then sunlight briefly flashed off its surface. Johnson compared the maneuver to the beginning of a barrel roll, except the object never fully completed the roll. Instead, it abruptly changed direction, climbed upward, rolled over the top of the maneuver, and disappeared completely from sight. Gone. Johnson later admitted in his statement that he could not accurately determine the object's exact speed or distance. But he remained firm about several conclusions. It was not an airplane, balloon, or an illusion. And one of the most fascinating parts of the documents is how cautious Johnson sounds throughout the report. He repeatedly questioned himself. He admitted he was tired after days of searching. He even considered the possibility that fatigue or low oxygen levels could have affected his perception. At one point, Johnson wrote that he had actively tried to avoid becoming a victim of suggestion or self-hypnosis because of the intense national obsession surrounding flying saucers. But despite all of that, he could not convince himself he imagined the object. And then came another strange detail. According to the intelligence memorandum, Personnel on the ground near Gowen Field also reportedly observed a dark object maneuvering near the same cloud formation Johnson described. Fighter aircraft were sent into the area to search for it. Nothing was found. But perhaps the most eerie part of the entire case is the final page attached to the file, a chart mapping the object's movement through the sky exactly as Johnson claimed to have witnessed it. Position 1, Position 2, Position 3, then the roll, the flash, the sudden climb, and finally, disappearance. The file labeled the document simply as Exhibit B. The label suggested Johnson's statement was not a standalone report, but a part of a larger military intelligence file connected to the growing wave of flying saucer sightings spreading across America. And according to the documents, Exhibit A contained reports and background information connected to Kenneth Arnold himself, the pilot whose famous Mount Rainier sighting had helped ignite the flying saucer craze just weeks earlier, which meant Johnson's encounter was not being treated as some isolated rumor, but as a part of a larger military intelligence file connected to the growing wave of sightings. Today, most people have never heard the name David N. Johnson. His story was overshadowed by Roswell, buried beneath the headlines, and nearly forgotten with time. Yet hidden inside confidential Army counterintelligence files from July of 1947, his account still survives. The summer of 1947 changed history, and somewhere inside those skies over America, David Johnson believed he saw something that still has no explanation. And here we are, almost 80 years later, still waiting for answers. Thank you for watching, and thank you to everyone who continues to support this channel. I see all of your comments, likes, and shares, and honestly, it means a lot to me. Your support truly helps keep these videos going. If there's a specific file, case, or topic you'd like to see covered in a future video, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you'd like to support the channel and help these videos continue, you can find the support links in the channel description. Once again, thank you for being here. Until next time, keep looking up.